Spooky / unexplained / weird shit that has happened to you Innawoods. Be me. Hiking with my GF on trail in northern Ontario. Go about 100 meters off trail, sit down to rest. As we're talking, we both look down and see a perfectly round star made of 6 sticks / branches, crisscrossed, on the ground. We can't explain it, doesn't seem to be natural, the branches / sticks seem to be from different trees. Continue hiking. Suddenly, start hearing something way off in the distance that sounded like muffled voices, combined with a sense of dread. I can't take another step. I force myself to keep walking, but sense of don't go in there gets worse, turn around and GTFO. On the same area, a few months later. Be hiking at dusk with GF again. As we're talking, see a flash, like a camera's flash, right behind us. Turn around, there's nothing there, and no other hikers are in the park, empty parking lot when leaving, my GF saw it too. WTF.exe. Be me. Hiking up a mountain on a snowy day in the Irish countryside with my dog. The further I get to the peak of the trail, the heavier the snowfall. Eventually reach the peak about an hour in. It is snowing so much that I cannot see more than a couple feet in front of me, there is blinding wind. Feels absolutely surreal, like I'm in a dream state, there is white everywhere and howling wind. Become kind of disorientated and try to find the fencing to use as a waypoint to get down. As I'm doing this, I hear what sounds like 1,000 muffled voices interloped with the wind whispering in my ear an unintelligible, angry-sounding noise, and I get a deep sense of anxiety, a pit in my stomach, and my heart starts racing. Dog begins growling, a deep, violent growl I've only ever heard when someone attempted to burgle our home. Turn around and see what looks like a tall black human-shaped silhouette a couple meters yonder at the precipice of where my vision ends. After about a second it appears to take a step back and disappears completely. At this point I'm absolutely terrified and stumbling and trying to run back down where I think the fence is. Find it. Basically run down the trail, slipping numerous times in the snowy and icy conditions, but I just wanted to GTFO. I've been up that trail since then and nothing strange has happened. For what it's worth, the trail is rather close to an ancient Irish burial cairn. This is the only spoopy thing I've ever experienced while hiking. Be me a week ago. Go backpacking with buddy up Innamountains. Totally peaceful and pretty. Night comes and we go to bed. Wake up several times through the night to some weird noises. Best way to describe them is as disturbances in the earth and a movement around the perimeter, no leaves or anything that would suggest walking around. Like if you have your head against a desk and you tap it, kinda like that, but not super loud. Next morning buddy is up and mentions something about waking up and hearing something. He thinks it was the creek. The noise happens again and I feel it through my feet. He doesn't say anything about it. Pack up and leave without eating breakfast. I'm not in a geoactive location, and fault lines aren't really a thing here. I know what an earthquake is, and it definitely wasn't it. Was more sound than movement. My rifle was very comforting that night. I know this sounds stupid, but small trees would disappear as if they were never there. I would walk around and avoid certain spaces between trees because of spider webs, and circling back, the area had an eerie empty spot. No shrubs or anything in its place, just pine needles. Like I said, stupid, but when I looked back at my GoPro or camera, it was not there. It was not really scary, but it was definitely weird because it was not misdirection. This is the part of the forest I was in Florida. I walked along the shrub line at the back of the photo, and turning around I noticed that there was much more space between the palmettos and trees. Again, because of the absence of spiderwebs, I had to constantly path around. If it was me just not recognizing the forest from a different angle, then I would have not been able to identify missing trees. This sounds gay, but I think about this like one every 2 months. Be me. Traveling the area of Crow's Nest Pass in British Columbia. Reception is spotty, so I stop in a town and buy a paper map. Traveling through a provincial park area. Picnic/rest areas shown on the map. Stopping at all of them to look around. See X picnic area on the right side on the map. Pull in. Check it out and keep going. Turn right out of the area to continue west. Driving for what seems like a long time. See a sign X picnic area on the left this time. Stop in. It's literally the exact same rest area but mirror image, even the same trails leading off it. Creeped. Check the map. It now shows X picnic area on the left. Backtrack. No sign of the first mirror X picnic area. Next one I come to is W picnic area where I was hours earlier. Nope, the freak out and head back the right direction. Only X picnic area on the left this time. Some kind of weird space-time continuum interdimensional thing. Be out hunting in the bottomlands along the Mississippi. It's spring and hot, so I stop on a small hill to take a breather. Sit for a bit. The ground beneath me gives and my foot falls into a hole in the hill. I clamber back as the roof of this hill gives. The dirt is loose and I keep falling in. Panic sets in and all I want to do is get out of the growing hole. Climb out and fall down the hill. I take a moment to calm down and the smell hits me. Rotting wood and earth. Climb back up and take a look. The remains of a cedar wood ceiling have caved into a sort of chamber in the hill. There are weird smooth limestone rocks that have been joined like bricks on the sides. It's mostly filled with dirt, but I distinctly see something. It's white and shaped like a boomerang, so I pick it up. Humanjawbone.jpg. I immediately dropped it and ran out of there. Be me in 2013. Experienced /out/doorsman who regularly backpacks overnight in Appalachia. Find an awesome campsite on top of a ridge. This spot is at least a 2-hour hike into the woods and then another half-mile up off the main trail. Have to scramble up ridge to get here. Trying to say it's very hidden and somewhat inaccessible. Pristine site. Good kitchen area on ridge and good campsite area about 200 meters back into the woods. On the ridge there is a small memorial marker, presumably for a dead climber. It has a circle of rocks with 2 pieces of wood tied with climbing rope and a carabiner. Will post photo in next post. Untouched rocks with fresh moss, pine cones and flowers decorating. Feels out of place but also peaceful. This spot seems very remote, but the market adds to the atmosphere and beautiful view. Have a great solo night at peace and comfy, my guys. Even see a shooting star. Next morning go to marker on the ridge and take pic related. Comfy AF boys. Hike out and tell no one about this amazing spot. For the next 6 years regularly come back to this spot to camp. Can't visit this area without staying the night here. Probably camp at this spot 3 to 4 times a year for 6 years. Never see a soul at this spot. Never see any sign of anyone having camped there. Now the weird part. Never any signs of anyone else knowing about or camping here. Every time I visit there is new fresh moss and fresh flowers on the memorial marker. Marker is never disturbed and always pristine. Boys, I know that someone is probably just making the trip up there to replace all that stuff, but somehow I feel it's more than that. It's deep in the woods and up a ridge. There is no moss up top, they'd have to bring it in. They'd have to regularly make the 4+ hour round trip hike, multiple times a year to the site, and never leave a sign of having camped there. This moss and those flowers are there even in winter. Honestly, guys, part of my even thinks that has always been the same moss and flowers, that have somehow never gone bad. It seems like something slightly eerie is going on there more than just the logical answer. Can't explain the feeling, but make of it what you will. Bonus points if anyone can identify where I am based off pics. Not unexplained but scared the dick off me. Solo backpacking Innawoods in Idaho. Laying in tent trying to sleep for the night. Suddenly hear loud near-like grunts off in the distance. Every 3 seconds or so another grunt, like something is running. Getting closer with each one. Gets right near my tent then passes it, still grunting every few seconds. Get maybe 2 hours of sleep that night, clutching my 44 the whole time. Next morning, inspect area I heard grunting coming from. No more than 100 feet from my tent I find the fresh leg of a recently killed deer. Bear left me a gift. It was my fault for Putch camp in a place called freaking Bear Valley lol. Bears scare me more than any spooky ghosties that my mind creates.
Be Australian. Going Innawoods over long weekend because no friends. No guns, only hatchet and knife, as well as regular camping stuff. Get there later than I'd like because of traffic, late afternoon. Hiking through woods towards my personal favorite spot, built fire pit, and everything. Sun is getting blocked by trees, have headlamp on. MFW I hear, In Dreams by Roy Orbison, in the distance. This is my favorite song, as well. Is there someone out here with similar music tastes, and a Bluetooth speaker? Consider going over, but I came out here to be alone, continue on. As I keep walking, the song abruptly cuts out. 2 minutes later. Intro to In Dreams starts playing again, closer but still faint, to my northwest. Lol what? Jimmy Russellment, 50%. Am I hallucinating? Did the other guy move camp while jogging to get ahead of me? Feel weirded out, keep hiking towards camp, roughly 2 kilometers from camp now. Not 20 seconds later, In Dreams comes up again, closer again. Jimmy Russellment, 99%. Start half running, shit is not right. Once again, song stops, then reappears to my left, even louder. Break into sprint, nearly at camp. Open bag while running, grab fire starters, shit spilling out everywhere. The first 10 seconds of In Dreams starting then starting like a stuck tape recorder. If said tape recorder was chasing me through a forest in the evening. See clearing W camp, run up, throw entire pack of fire starters into pit, light them, shove eucalyptus leaf branch onto it. Smother it. Roy Orbison's haunting classic getting closer, as it attempts to get to me. Jim is rustling enough to generate electricity for a Chinese village at this point. Desperately try to light again, dry eucalypt leaves are perfect fuel, goes up like a flare. Shovel more on, eucalypts burn good, but are quick to it. A few minutes pass, no sign of song. I've put all the sticks and wood surrounding me around the fire, it's burning merrily and sustainably. I stay up the rest of the night, with my knife in hand, drinking instant coffee and smoking to stay awake, only venturing away to get firewood. Don't hear In Dreams anymore, do, however, hear footsteps of something circling for first hour or so. Morning comes. Most of my shit fell out along the way when I opened my bag, so I leave my gear behind, so I can run as fast as possible. I had a pretty nice sleeping bag, but I'm not dying because I'm lugging it around. Keep knife and hatchet though, for obvious reasons. Make break through forest, there's a semi-recognizable trail, so I kind of know where I'm going. I'm hardly the fittest guy, but the monkey I'm being freaking hunted part of brain lets me keep a steady jog for most of the run. No song, though. Not falling for that shit, keep running. I don't think it was out there in the day, but I still ran. Reach the parking lot after 45 minutes, get in car, drive back home without stop. Get in bed, sleep 12 hours straight. Get up, realize the implication for me if I were to tell those around me about my zany adventure, decide not to. Have panic attack when I hear In Dreams from then on. I always carry a shotgun whenever I go Innawoods now, sawed off so I can hide it in a bag. Sure, I'm freaked if the cops find it, but I'll be 7 shades more freaked if something like that finds me without any weapons or fire. As for the thing, it could have just been some freakwit with a speaker, but the chances he knew my, at the time, favorite song were kind of thin. I think it knew what my favorite song was, and wanted me to go towards it. If you want to get speculative, I'm a first-gen expat curry, so, maybe some abo spirit, or whatever the freak decided it wanted a piece of the new guy on the block. Believe me or not, shit happened. Be careful in TAS, something's out there.
Be me. Crisp fall day. Crunchy leaves cover the ground through the entire forest. Deer hunting from tree stand a week into the season. Seeing lots of sign but haven't seen any deer this season. Eerily quiet. Getting cold. Getting late in the day, almost the end of legal hunting light. Decide to go home before it gets darker. Lower rifle down with rope. Climb down. Get to the bottom of tree stand and retrieve gun. Turn around. 20 feet away next to a bush I see the silhouette of what looks like a giant hairy ape. Definitely bigger and taller than me. Bigfoot.png. Scares the living shit out of me. Standoff goes on for 30 seconds before the beast goes down on all fours and bolts up the hill towards my car. Realize instantly it's just a really big black bear, and now I have to walk in the direction it just ran. I got home safe without seeing the bear again, and now I'm fully convinced that all Bigfoot sightings are just bears standing on their hind legs. I still cannot believe this animal managed to sneak up on me so quietly. I could barely hear it when it ran away. Killarney Provincial Park. Dusk, settling in for the night. Demented loud roar that immediately sends my dog running into the tent. It sounded really close by. No idea what it was. Same trip. Day later. Dog wanted to stay outside the tent for the night, gladly let her do so. In the middle of the night I'm startled awake by something clawing at my face. Thought for sure I was being mauled by an animal. Was just my dog absolutely freaking out, desperately trying to get its way into the tent. This is why I sleep with earplugs in. If something is going to kill me, I'd rather not hear it coming. Be me. Hiking in a US state that borders Canada. It's late spring and I'm about 10 miles into the trail, well marked. Freak got a shit. Forgot toilet paper. There was only about a half-hour walk to the next little campsite according to the sign. It's one with an outhouse, and I'm weird about wiping with leaves. Keep walking. Taco Bell this morning. Foo. Walking. Hear a creak or something. Clean as whole time. Cut off the trail towards noise. About 50 feet into trees. See a clearing ahead. Figures in clearing. 2 men, one wearing old ratty clothes sitting on ground, one, probably 70s, standing bare naked pissing on other guy. He turns and sees me. Doesn't stop pissing. Smiles with old man meth teeth. WEF. I just said something along the lines of oh shit, and booked it to the trail. Swear I hear brush moving behind me the rest of the hike. Never on that trail again. How did that nasty old bastard even walk all the way out there? Easily worst hike of my life. Not really out per se, but I was on the way back from an outing. Be me. Driving home from touring national parks in the West. Driving through Wisconsin. Coming down interstate, it's about 9 p.m. Get to a small city. Feel fine, decide to keep going until next pop center to stop for the night. Driving along in the darkness. See figure standing in the road, think it's a man in some type of black rain slicker at first. It notices my lights and starts walking off the road. Realize it's at least 8 feet tall and very slender. See its legs are backwards with a very short thigh and long sloping cannon bone that slopes forwards. Has a very peculiar gait to its walk, like some alien or something. Appears very athletic, like it could run very fast and jump really high if it wanted to. Just walks across the road and into the woods in front of me as I slow down in awe. It was black and had no noticeable head or arms, just a tall oblong body with strange legs. Body seemed to shimmer and ripple in a weird way. Legs were very muscular and sinewy. Realize it's not any kind of known animal, and book it the freak out of there. End up stopping in the Wisconsin Dells and hit up internet search. Numerous sightings in the area of a beast of Bray Road. Nope. Spookiest thing I ever saw. To this day I can't explain it. Be me, hiking in Alaska. Doesn't really get dark until very late. Tired, been fishing for the past few days. Sit down off the trail to eat a snack bar and drink some cold coffee. 7 hours later I wake up in the exact same position I was sitting in originally, with no soreness whatsoever. Science can't explain this. At work, ranger on tropical island. Coming down a track on a hill that's been closed the last few months due to seabirds breeding. No people on this part of the island, just me and the birds. Out of the corner of my eye see what looks like the black silhouette of a person peering out from behind a palm tree. Laugh and say out loud, "What are you doing, Black Billy?" Name of our local spook. Thing vanishes and palm tree starts shaking violently. Run down the track faster than I ever have before.
Not as good as some of these. Walking off trail in a fairly large wooded area with my wife. Eastern Ontario, so rural but not that remote, mixed hardwood forest. This is early spring so everything is still brown and mostly dead. Start hearing voices in the distance. Sounds like women screaming, and other, angry and aggressive male voices shouting back. Hear what sound like it might be shotgun going off. Just look at each other and start heading back. Never spoke of it to anyone, never heard anything about it. Probably just people freaking around, but it genuinely sounded to me like an attack, and my wife and I still refer to the incident as the Massacre. Innawoods, Minnesota. Walking with my dad and dog gone. Dog runs at something, call him back. Approach, it's a buck. Skin in tatters like a shredded coat. Fur falling off, gray. All 4 legs broken. Looks like a zombie. Writhing on the snow. Dad says to go to the cabin to get a rifle and shoot it. It's full dark by the time we get to the cabin. Says screw it, the wolves will probably kill it, we'll check in the morning. Morning. Grab rifle, set out to the spot, dog on my heels. Get to the spot, dog will not go further. No deer. No tracks. No blood or bones. No fresh snow. Years go by and multiple ferns hiking around that area with me comment how creepy that specific area is. I always feel like an unwelcome guest there even though I own the land. My Indian friend went there with me and asked me if anything weird happened here. I told him this story. He writes on a piece of paper. Wendigo. Not too spooky, just unnerving. Really push myself the last day on the trail. It's only 6 more miles to my car, but there is one more mountain that I need to go around. Dead tired and just decide to take a quick bread and eat lunch. Trail is very unpopular and I only saw one person the whole week I was there. No footprints in the soil except mine. Sit down to rest and drink water. Fall asleep without meaning to, leaning against a tree. The sun is going down and when I get up I realize that there are fresh footprints in the soil. They go from the forest downhill, across the trail, right up to me, pace for a second then go up the mountain behind me. Footprints are not that big, only slightly larger than my foot. It's getting brighter for some reason and I realize it isn't sunset but sunrise. I had slept 13 hours out in the open without being awoken by anything. Walk back the way I came for a mile to see if anyone came this way, saw me and took their boots off to mess with me. Nothing. Try and follow the footsteps but the mountain is too steep and I lose them almost immediately. Walk out constantly checking the trail for any footprints. See nothing until I reach the deserted trailhead. Drive home. I was more curious than anything but I still have no idea who would have been walking up the mountain without using the trail barefoot. Be me. Age 8. Camp at forest cabin for the weekend. Have trouble sleeping. Wake up at dawn. See a white canine like a wolf with blue eyes. We're both staring at each other. I run to show my mom. Come back and it's gone. MFW.